and gentlemen. My name is Monroe, Mann. Welcome to another edition of what I'm calling maybe Renaissance Man. I'm trying to think of the name for what these live streams are going to be. We'll see. It's a work in progress. Today I wanted to talk about the N, the letter N, in my acronym INVESTOR, which is a investment system that I have created. And earlier on a prior live stream, I talked about the I, which stands for two things: intellectual property and insurance. Today, talking about the N. Before I tell you what the N stands for, is just an explanation of what this whole system is. Many, many years ago, I was trying to figure out how do I invest my money. What's up, Jesse? You're back. Great to see you. I got your message, and now that I know you're in Europe, I know that the early morning ones are going to be better for you. So years ago, I was trying to figure out how to invest my money, and I was so confused because it seemed like there were so many different investments, and I had no idea where to put the money. I didn't know how to turn that money into more money. I knew nothing. And I just started doing massive amounts of research. And I finally concluded that I needed to create a simple system that would always remind me of where I can invest my money. And that simple system was this acronym INVESTOR. And what I've determined is that no matter what money you invest, it will always end up in one of these 8 categories: I, N, V, E, S, T, O, or R. As I mentioned last week, we talked about the I, which stands for insurance and intellectual property. We talked about how insurance is not just life insurance, and it's not even always where you spend money and give it to a company. Insurance could just be simply you've got friends, or you're taking extra time to make sure something is done correctly. So insurance is a lot of things. You can please look at my past live streams. They all are recorded. They all get posted on my YouTube channel, and you can go look back at all of them. And again, the I is intellectual property, which means anything that you create with your mind that could ultimately make you more money. Examples are the Microsoft logo is intellectual property, a screenplay, a book, a novel, a computer program that you create. This live stream here is being recorded. That is intellectual property because I'm making money from something that's coming out of my brain. Good morning, Laura. Laura Renee, it's great to see you. Thank you for having me. And I hope both of you will click like. And Laura, if you haven't, love you to subscribe as well, so you'll be a part of this. So the N in this INVESTOR acronym stands for Never Touch Fund. Why do I call it a never touch fund? You're never supposed to touch it. Too many people have this problem where they earn money and then they immediately spend it. Thanks for the like, and yeah, definitely check out the other live streams and the other one that's about the investor one. Too many people just earn their money and then they spend it immediately. Many people will tell me, yeah, but I'm barely making enough money to pay my rent. And, oh, Zach, you make me feel you feel like a winner. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I'm thank you for another chance to see you on this live stream. People always complain they don't have enough money that they earn each month to save. That is as many of you know, I have a PhD in psychology. It does not matter how much money you make. There's a book called The Richest Man in Babylon. I don't know if I have it on my bookshelf here. Let me look if I see it. Yeah, of course I have. Of course I have it on my bookshelf here. This is the book. The Richest Man in Babylon. I'm actually going to read the back of this book because I want all of you to read this book. It's by George S. Clason. It says, "Ahead of you stretches your future, like a road leading into the distance. Along that road are ambitions you wish to accomplish, desires you wish to gratify. To bring your ambitions and desires to fulfillment, you must be successful with money. Use the financial principles made clear in the pages which follow. Let them guide you away from the stringencies of a lean purse to that fuller, happier life a full purse makes possible. Like the laws of gravity, they are universal and unchanging. May they prove for you, as they have proven to so many others, a sure key to a fat purse, larger bank balances, and gratifying financial progress. Money is the medium by which earthly success is measured. Money makes possible the enjoyment of the best the earth affords. Money is plentiful for those who understand the simple laws which govern its acquisition. Money is governed today by the same laws which controlled it when prosperous men thronged the streets of Babylon 6,000 years ago. Here are the 7 simple rules of its acquisition. Number 1, start thy purse to fattening. 2, control thy expenditures. 3, make thy gold multiply. 4, guard thy treasures from loss. 5, make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. Number 6, ensure a future income. And 7, increase the ability to earn. The Richest Man in Babylon is one of the foundational books on finance that anyone who wants to make a lot of money and save a lot of money and do good with a lot of money should read. Before I continue talking about that, let me look at these comments. I worked at a job at Random Store, and I try to save as much as money as possible. Awesome. You also did 22 push-ups? Jayo! Jayo! You ever heard the story of Babylon in the Bible? Money is the root of evil. Money is not the root of evil. If you look at the Bible, it says love of money is the root of all evil. Money is simply a tool, just like a knife. A knife can be used to do wonderful things like carve furniture. It can be used to carve food. It can be used to defend yourself if someone is attacking you. By the same token, a knife can be used to hurt somebody. A knife can be used to threaten somebody. So money, like that knife, is just a tool that we all have. The key is, do not fall in love with money. You all need money. Even the people who live completely off the grid. I see some of these videos on YouTube and documentaries, and they live off the grid, but they still have a cell phone, for example, or they still have a bank account in town 300 miles away because they have to pay their electrical bill or something, or they need to have some sort of income because they have solar power panels on their roof, and every 10 years they need to replace those panels and they need money to do that. So I just want you to always remember, you need money. You just do not want to fall in love with money. You want to have a relationship with money when you realize, okay, I need money in order to pay my Wi-Fi. I need money in order to buy a replacement phone. By the way, you just need money to do things. Just always remember that. The problem is when you start to go crazy, where your mission in life is to accumulate money. Your mission is not to accumulate money just to accumulate it. Your mission is to make sure you have enough money to buy the things you need in the here and now, number 1, that you need. Number 2, to give yourself a decent life where you have some time to go on a vacation, and you can help your parents, you can help your friends. Number 3, you have enough money when there's an emergency and all hell breaks loose, and you have a big problem and you need to solve it. You want to have money saved up. And it's this third thing, this is the third reason why what we're talking about today, which is the N of investor, which stands for never touch fund. Never touch fund. It's money that you save up only when everything falls apart. What do I mean by everything falls apart? You've lost your job. You've asked your friends and family for money and they won't give you any. They won't lend you any money. You are running out of options. You're starting to get stressed out and you need to pay the rent tomorrow. What do? You take money from your never touch fund. Why do I call it a never touch fund? Because you're not supposed to touch it unless there is a huge emergency. Let's look at some of these comments. How, if you don't mind asking, true, but if you can't build your life on money, don't have faith in money. 100%. I have no faith in money. I mean, this is kind of me being a joke, but it's the truth. I have so little faith in money that's why I also buy physical gold. Literally physical gold from moneymetals.com. Platinum, palladium, silver. Why? Because fiat currency, that's currency that's published by the government, can be inflated. And it happens every day. The value of the dollar, the value of the euro, the value of the yen is every day going down because these governments just keep printing more of it. That's it. They just create it out of thin air. And gold, however, is a lot more harder to mine. A government can't just say, find more gold. They can, but there's no guarantee that it's going to be found in the amount that the government needs today. If the government says to its central bank, just print money, guess what? Later that afternoon, that money has been printed. So in that sense, you're right, Zach. That's the first way of don't have faith in your money. And that's just from a financial perspective. And from the more spiritual perspective is, as I said, love of money is the root of all evil. If you put all of your faith in money, rather than relationships with others, rather a relationship with God, rather than something bigger than yourself, look at the story of Scrooge McDuck, Mickey's Christmas Carol. A lot of us have seen that cartoon by Disney, Mickey's Christmas Carol, and it talks about Uncle Scrooge and his assistant, Bob Cratchit, and all he does is count his money. And even when Bob Cratchit asked for a little bit, to leave a half an hour earlier on Christmas Eve, Uncle Scrooge was, I don't want to even give you a half an hour of time off. My old bosses at this immigration law firm here in Miami were like that. Just money was really their only focus. And everybody else in the law firm was struggling and didn't get enough time off, was expected to work on Saturdays when they were never there on Saturdays. It was kind of annoying. Quit that. Get out of that. Your words are wise and inspirational. Thanks, Jesse. I'm going to force my best friend to subscribe. You can encourage with emphatic insistence, but we don't want to force. But hey, if forcing is what it takes. No, just kidding. Bro, put Jesus first, nothing will destroy you. Good perspective, you beautiful. Hey, Kafella. What's going on? I also have a fund just in case for the future. I almost forgot about it. Good. How much does gold cost? So gold, the price of gold is usually always going up in the last 5 years or so because the value of the dollar is going down. And when the dollar gets inflated, it's going to cost more dollars to buy an ounce of gold. And right now you can buy maybe 2.5 grams, and I'm just guessing, but it's around maybe $150 to $220, something around there. And it's tiny. I mean, it is smaller than this. It's maybe 1/3 of the size of this. even a quarter the size of this, because this is pretty wide. It's really, really tiny, very thin. You know what it looks like? It looks like the SIM card from your cell phone. The size of a SIM card is about a 2.5 gram piece of gold, a gold bar, and it costs somewhere between like $150 and $250. I'll have to check. And literally just buy those little pieces of gold and little pieces of silver. They will add up. And the best part is not only are they very likely to go down in value, they're very likely to go up in value. And if there is a global apocalypse, you will have something that will allow you to buy stuff, because gold is always desirable. And it's been desirable for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And what I want to make sure that everybody watching this live stream or the recording does, or is never in, I don't want you to ever be in a situation where you lose your job and you're panicking because you don't have enough money to pay your rent. I don't want any of you to be in a situation where you are at a job that you absolutely hate, but you cannot quit because you have nothing saved up in your never touch fund. So you are basically a slave to money, and a slave, therefore, to this job that you hate, that brings you no joy. The only thing it does for you is bring in money that pays your rent. By the way, thanks for giving a like if you haven't yet, and I would love you to subscribe if you have not. How much does a gold cost? I remember having a Scrooge musical in middle school. Hey, what's up, Violetta? You're at camp, but you're on this live stream. Shouldn't you be focusing on camp? What kind of camp is allowing you to come onto a live stream? Thank you for the like. And I like the stars, or I like the gold. I'm not sure what that's saying, fella. I troll. Hey, what's up? Great to see you. What's going on with the count? There are a bunch of people here in the chat, and it says there are 0 people here. That's pretty crazy. It's actually not a lot of gold. So it's not a lot of gold in that one little piece. But the idea is, think about that. If you have a little piece of a dollar bill, that's the size of that 2.5 gram piece of gold, it's worth less than a penny. If you have a piece of gold in that same size, it's worth $200. You could take that to a gold dealer. If you have 100 pieces of that gold, you've got $4,000 worth of gold. And the idea is, sometimes, if there's a global apocalypse, Jesse, and when I say that, it could be anything. It could be a financial meltdown, it could be World War III, which very well could happen. It could be another pandemic. Anything, any of these situations where the global financial world could collapse. And let's say the entire internet goes out. Let's say it's an EMP attack, electromagnetic pulse. If you have an EMP attack, and let's say it's global, every computer will be fried. Every server could be fried, which means the internet is down. Everything is lost. All the money in the bank is lost, because it's not really money. It's just zeros and ones saved on a computer at the bank. The only thing that's going to be valuable is, what do you have to barter with? Well, maybe you'll have some some cash, some dollars, some euros, some yen, some renminbi, but it's worthless now. If there's a global apocalypse, pandemic, EMP attack, and the internet is gone, computers are gone, no one's going to take this paper money. What the heck is it based on? If the United States government falls, the dollar is worthless. But if every government is gone and the internet is gone, guess what is still valuable? Gold. Not cryptocurrency, because that'll be wiped out too. because that's based on blockchain, digital, and an EMP attack could potentially. I'm just giving worst case scenario. If it happened all around the world, a global EMP attack, every computer is gone, electricity is gone, we're back to the Stone Ages. What do you got to barter with? Your stuff. Gold will always be valuable. So that gold should also be a part of your never touch fund. Am I married? Nope, not married. How about you, fella? Are you married? Is anyone here married? And not really sure if I'm finding Mount House Camp. Where should I buy gold? So, iTroll, tell me where you live. Which country do you live in? That's the first thing that I need to be reminded about. In general, if you're in the United States, the place that I go to buy gold is moneymetals.com. And you can buy tons of things there. And there are many other websites. You can find them in your country, probably, something similar. You can also go to a local gold dealer. The only problem is I think you're going to end up paying much more money if you go to a local gold dealer in your town than if you actually go to one of these big online wholesale companies. If you go to the guy at your local gold shop, it's going to be probably retail priced. He's trying to make a lot. He has to make more money from each sale than these large international gold sellers like Money Metals. Please check that out. And I forgot the name of the website, but it was some website I found, USA. So it's moneymetals.com, moneymetals.com, moneymetals.com. As I said, I will do a live stream later, or I'll go to the place where my gold is and my metals are stored, and I will bring them out and do a show, and I'll actually show you all of these different types of metals that I own. iTroll is asking, what's your usual buy? Gold coins, bars, gold rounds? It really doesn't matter because they're all worth basically the same. It's gold. But I prefer the gold bars because I think I have this big love for pirates. And for some reason, I kind of feel like I'm like a little pirate. But I have these little gold bars. But you could get coins. You could get rounds, whatever. It's really whatever you think is something that you enjoy more. You could even, if you like jewelry, you could put all of your investments into gold jewelry because then you've got something functional where you could actually wear that gold. I will say, I am always surprised when people flaunt their expensive jewelry and watches because it can cause robbery. I remember there was this guy who owned a big cryptocurrency guy, and he bought a really expensive $30,000 watch. And on Instagram, he put a picture of himself holding the watch up, smiling, and he was in front of the hotel where he was staying in New York City. That night, a bunch of robbers waited for him to return to the hotel, and they took his watch and they severely beat him. He may have even been killed, I don't know. Another situation about this. There was another influencer in Colombia, and as a lot of these influencers do, she took a picture of the plate of food that she had. And she put that plate of food in the picture, and behind it was the menu. And the menu made it really cool made it really clear what restaurant she was at. And apparently she had been involved with something with a Colombian drug cartel. And the Colombian drug cartel knew which restaurant, what she was at, where she was, and she was assassinated. So the two lessons I want you to tell you this. Number one, don't flaunt your wealth. Don't try to show it off too much. Be careful. And number two, be careful of showing your location specifically when you're doing Instagram posts or social media or things like that. Uh, let's go. Let's see. What's up, Dutch Ball? Good to see you. Please click like, guys. Remember, that'll help us show up more in the live feed recommendation. I don't understand the meaning of flexing your expensive things or Bitcoin. Everybody wants to feel special. And everybody wants to feel respected by others. And for some reason, some people feel that they are respected by others if people envy their wealth and envy the things that they have. I don't think somebody's value or wealth should be coming from how much stuff they have or how much money they make. We're all valuable in God's eyes. But I also think if you flaunt your wealth too much, be careful, because you might be inviting envious, evil people to do harm to you. And let's see, but also not good. So I don't post things on the internet. Yeah, I need to be careful too. I mean, I'm doing these live streams here, and I read something on the internet recently, which is fascinating, and it does make sense. It says don't post. Some people recommend this, and you can make your own recommendations. Don't post that when you're on photos of you on vacation when you're on vacation. Because then they may know that you are not at home. Obviously, if you have security cameras, that's another story. If you have somebody else who's going to be at home, that's another story. But again, be careful with the internet, because if you are, like, for example, I'm live streaming right now. People know where I am. I'm at my home. And maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe that's not a good thing, because they know where I am. The good thing is I'm not telling you exactly where I live, which would be foolish for anyone to do. You don't want to post any private information on the internet. And this is why I don't think, why are you okay? Why did you ask, are you okay? Are you asking? By the way, guys, when you were asking other questions, if you're asking questions of me, or you're asking questions of other people in the chat, try to use their name or my name, because this way when we're going through the chat or other people look back on the chat, they'll know, oh, this person's talking to me. Oh, that person is asking a question to Monroe, something like that. Dutch ball. At school, we had a linge ball tournament and we lost. Oh, I guess there must have been a handball tournament, maybe. I almost died by falling in the rain with my bike on a moving car. Wow. Wow, so you had an experience like I had yesterday, skydiving. Crazy. I am glad that you are okay. And how old are I? I am 46. That's right, I'm 46. And what you don't know what happens every day. Somebody wrote up above about, I don't know, somebody asked that. Oh no, Jesse, you asked, why are you okay? I don't know if you're asking me or if you're asking somebody in the chat. But going back to this Never Touch Fund. In the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is another book. Do I have it here? Yep, I got it here too. This is another book that you guys should read. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This is an amazing book. I read this book maybe once every 2 years, because it is a reminder of a bunch of cool lessons. The two main lessons that I always get from that book, or the three main lessons, are constantly improve your financial education. Number one. Number two, stop saying I can't afford that. Instead ask, how can I afford this? How can I figure out a way to make enough money to buy this? So it shouldn't be I can't afford a Lamborghini. If you really want one, how can I change my life financial situation so that I can afford to buy a Lamborghini? And number three, the third lesson that I always get from the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, is Wealth is not measured in money, it's measured in time. And what does that mean? It means, an analogy that I always give about this is an NBA player versus a janitor. NBA players are notorious for spending all their money as soon as they make it. So let's say an NBA player makes $100,000 a month, probably more, but let's just say $100,000 a month. But because this basketball player has so many expenses, those expenses are about $120,000 a month, and is using debt and credit cards and stuff to keep up with the mortgages, the payments on the cars, the fancy parties. So earns $100,000 a month, spends $120,000 a month, and has nothing saved in the bank. So let's think about how many months that person can survive if he's fired from the NBA. The answer is 0. It's negative, in fact, because his monthly expenses are $20,000 more than he was making. Got no money in the bank. As soon as that person is fired and the income stops, disaster. Let's look at the other side. There's a janitor who works as a custodian in an office building. Let's just say makes $1,000 a month, but lives with his family all together in a very small place, costs $800 a month, all of his monthly expenses. And so therefore, his person is able to save $200 every single month in the bank. And let's say this person's been doing this for many years. So every month, 200. So 200, 400, 600, 800, 1,000. So $1,200 a month is getting saved up every 6 months. Basically, every 6 months, that person has more than a month of expenses saved in the bank. And it's been doing this over years and years and years. So this person, let's just say, has $20,000 saved in the bank. The NBA player makes 100 times more money per month than this janitor. But the NBA player spends that money constantly. The janitor saves $200 every single month and keeps his expenses below his income. Who is more wealthy? The person who's more wealthy is the janitor. Because if that janitor loses his job today, he's got $20,000 in the bank and is a never touch fund, which is the N of investor, and is now able to survive for more than 2 years just off of the money that's in the bank. So this is why I'm telling you, you guys need to create a never touch fund. And how do you do that? By first spending less than you make. A lot of people are in a situation where, but I'm not making enough as it is. Let me just check to make sure my battery is. So, what do? You have to change your psychology. I talked about that before. Saving money and putting money into a never touch fund is not about making a lot of money. It's about realizing you are more important than paying your bills. You are more important than your landlord. You are more important than your taxes to the government. You're more important than giving money to the grocery store. What does that mean? Every time $100 comes in, at least $5 or $10 should go into savings. The idea is you need to pay yourself first. And this is a big financial concept, is paying yourself first. When money comes in, before you think of paying the rent, before you think of buying groceries, before you think of paying the Wi-Fi, immediately 5 to 10%, if not more, should go into your savings account. If you can't afford 5 to 10%, what should it be? 4%. If you can't afford 4%, what should it be? 2%. If you can't afford 2%, 1%, 0.0111%, whatever it may be. Save money every time a little bit of money comes in. It's the same concept with investing money in general. Anytime money comes in, you should put something, even $1, into some type of investment, the S&P 500, into a real estate down payment fund, into a start my own business fund, into a buy a investment property fund, into a buy some treasury bonds fund, whatever it may be. Even if you can't actually buy it today, you can start saving up for that. And again, this idea of this never touch fund is you have to get into a saving mentality. Believe it or not, who are the most likely people to become rich? When I say rich, millionaire, like someone who has at least $1 million in the bank. Someone who doesn't spend money, who puts their money in the bank and lives very frugally, and the money gets saved up. I'm not telling you that this is what you definitely need to do with your life, is be very frugal and not spend money ever. But I am telling you, if you want to become wealthy, stop spending so much money and start saving it. Because the more money you save up, the more options you have, then the more interesting investments you can get involved with. My mom and I are invested something called SuperVest. And initially it was a $25,000 investment. But they've changed their requirements now to get involved in the same investment that my mom and I are involved with $25,000, costs $250,000 now. So like the more money you save up now, the more opportunities you're going to be able to jump on an opportunity before it becomes too expensive an investment and you are not able to get involved. The same thing happened with Bitcoin. If you had bought Bitcoin back in 2017, even $500, you would be very happy right now. So if you had saved up $500 and you had been investigating all of the different ways that you can invest, back in 2017, you would have realized that Bitcoin has potential to become a big hit. And maybe you would have put $500 there. But if you weren't doing the research and you weren't saving up money and you had no disposable income that you could use to invest, you're in trouble. The only time you should use your never touch fund for a non-emergency is if there is a 100% guaranteed return on investment in a very short time for a very small amount of that never touch fund. Those investment opportunities almost never appear. Anyone who comes to you who's telling you that they've got an investment that is a sure thing, I would not listen to that person. Even when I asked people to invest in my feature film, a lot of people, when they're trying to raise money for a risky endeavor, they basically lie and say, this money, I'm gonna work so hard, I'm gonna get your money back, it's gonna become a success, I promise. You can't promise that a film is gonna be a success. Most films fail. How did I raise the money? By being honest and saying, look, I'm very confident that I can do a good job with this, but the likelihood of you losing all your money is extremely high. And believe it or not, people then gave me money because of that. Let me look at the chat here. I almost fell. Are you okay? Dutch ball, be careful. 46, get hurt. Okay, bye. Have a nice day. See you later, Dutch ball. All right. What's up, some guy? Misinformation's no good. You shouldn't be spreading misinformation, my friend. Cafella, thank you, Jesse, for what? I save money in the bank because I'm scared that I might lose it, but I also keep a few loose ones too. Absolutely. I don't think you should be scared that I'll lose it. You should be thinking of yourself as being a smart investor. Some of your money should be saved in the bank. Some of your money you should keep in cash, readily available. You should have some of your money invested in precious metals and gold. Some of it, as I mentioned, look at that investor acronym. If you go to my website, investlikeaninvestor.com or Monroe Mann Financial Plan, you can read a lot more about this system and you can watch some of these videos that I created that go into this in more depth. I'll start funding in my future fund. I was asking you about your age, Jesse. I thought you can ask Monroe Mann. Prefer not to say. What's up, CLVR? How are you? Mr. Logan. Hello, Mr. Logan. Good to have you here. What's up, Isaiah Perez Hill? What's up? So we're talking today about saving money. The N in my investor acronym. And if you want to learn more about the investor acronym, again, go to investlikeaninvestor.com. How many months do you think you should have saved up in your never touch fund? Meaning, how many months of expenses do you need saved up to be safe? In an ideal world, what's the bare minimum that you should have? Okay. What's the bare minimum number of savings that you want saved up? Please go ahead and write that in the chat. And 1 or 2. Okay, CLVR says 1 or 2 months. Okay, and what else? Who else? Does anyone else have any guesses? 3, I think, says Jesse. Okay. So, and while we're doing this, while we're waiting for that, if anyone just got here, CLVR, if you could click like, that would be awesome. Would be very much appreciated. All right, so we've got 1 or 2, and we've got someone saying 3. So I said bare minimum. The bare minimum, so 3 to 4, says Isaiah. Technically, the bare minimum is at least 1. At least have 1 month saved up so that you can cover at least 1 month if all craziness breaks loose. But ideally, you want 6 months. 6 months saved up. Because thanks CLVR, thanks Chase. You want 6 months saved up because a month, that's not really long enough typically to maybe find a new job. It's not enough for you to give you enough wiggle room so that, again, remember I talk about Murphy's Law a lot. I'll maybe do a whole live stream about Murphy's Law eventually. Yeah, absolutely, Isaiah. I remember you. I know you've been here maybe at least once, if not maybe twice. So it's great to see you. 6 months is the bare minimum to make you feel safe, meaning you can quit your job at any time because you've got 6 months to survive and find another job. 6 months is the minimum because if you get fired, it gives you more time. 6 months gives you an opportunity to maybe even just go travel. Sometimes you quit a job or you get fired and you just need to take a break. You can't immediately go back into finding a job sometimes. Sometimes it's just overwhelming. 6 months could give you enough time to say, you know what, I'm going to try to start my business finally. I've got 6 months saved up. Let me get started. And if the business is not up and running and making some money after 3 months, I'll start looking for a job. Again, 6 months gives you so many options. Best case scenario, at least 1 year. Now, you're going to be working hard to save up 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year worth of savings. I'm almost certain before you get there, something's going to happen and you're going to need to use that never touch fund. So that 6 months is a goal. That 1 year is something to strive for. Don't feel bad if you're saving up and you save up 2 months and then suddenly you have to go into that never touch fund because there's a problem. It is there precisely for that reason, to use in an emergency. I can't tell you how many times just in the last 6 years where I would save up and I'd get up to 5 months and then boom, I went down to 1. Saved up, went down to 3. Saved up, went down to 0. Saved up, went down. I mean, I quit my job as an attorney 4 months ago. And guess what? What am I using? My never touch fund. Until I figure out what else I want to do. I ended up finding this YouTube live streaming. It's keeping me occupied. I'm working on some of my businesses and I have some other things. But it's only because I have a never touch fund that I was able to quit that job and now survive. And all of you are going to be in a situation one day where you either get fired, you quit, or you want to quit because you do not like your job. In any of those 3 situations, if you have a big never touch fund of at least 3 to 6 months, if not a year, it's not a big deal. If you are in a situation where you have $0 in the bank saved up or 2 weeks of expenses saved up, you're not going to want to quit because you can't afford to. If you get fired, it's going to be an absolute disaster because you only have 2 weeks of savings. All I'm telling you guys is, if you haven't started, start a savings account today and put $1 in there, and start putting in $1 in there every single week. Let me look at let me see. 6 months is definitely good amount of time to save money. Jesse, it's not 6 months of time to save money. It's 6 months of expenses. Let's say it costs you $2,000 a month to pay all your expenses, to pay for your rent, to pay for your food, to pay for your Wi-Fi. And by the way, if any of you are younger and you live with your parents, don't think, oh, well, I don't have to pay rent. Oh, I don't have to pay for Wi-Fi. You have to assume, which is what we'll go back to Murphy's Law, which Chase asked about. Murphy's Law says the worst thing that could happen is going to happen. So let's say you're living at home with your parents and you think, I don't need a never touch fund because my parents pay for everything. Murphy's Law is, what's the worst that could happen? Because that's what's going to happen. Your parents kick you out of your house. You get so fed up with your parents that you leave. Or worst case scenario, and this is just a reality, your parents could die. Some children have had their parents die in an airplane accident. And it's horrible and it's tragic. And I hope it does not happen to any of you. And if you have kids, I hope it doesn't happen to your kids. But Murphy's Law is being mature enough and realistic enough to ask these tough questions and come up with answers. What's the worst that could happen? If you're living at home with your parents, the worst that could happen is those things. You get kicked out, something bad happens. You need to know, how much would it cost for you to live on your own? How much would it cost for you to have Wi-Fi on your own? How much would it cost to replace your phone if you needed to replace it on your own? And what do you need to do? Make sure you have enough money saved up that in an emergency, you could do something like that. If your parents give you an allowance, or if you have a small part-time job, what do? You put a little bit of that money every single week into your never touch fund. If your parents give you $20 a week, don't just think, oh, that's cool. My parents give me $20 a week and I get to go spend it, whatever. I would put $5 every week into a savings account. 100%. I've never heard of Murphy's Law. So you can go do a Google search on it more. Search Murphy's Law. You'll find other videos on it. You'll find books on it. You'll find various websites. I think of it as a life planning strategy. Whenever you're doing something, think the word. When I went skydiving yesterday, I thought of what is the worst thing that could happen, and I reviewed every single possibility, thinking, and what will I do in that particular situation? And I'm glad I did, because the worst thing that could happen did happen, which was my main parachute had a problem. And I had to make a decision to cut that main parachute away and rely on my reserve. Now, in that situation, the absolute worst thing that could happen is the reserve parachute failed and I died. So in that worst case situation, what would happen? My mom would be without her son. And so I have life insurance. And if I die, my mom is going to have some help, some assistance. So think of the worst case scenario. I keep thinking here in this phone, what happens if the battery dies? So the last time I did that, I didn't check. My live stream went empty because I didn't have battery. So I'm going to check it right now. Let's say worst case scenario is that this battery indicator is wrong. So let me go into my bag right here and take out this power bank. Let me plug it in. Why? Because the worst thing that could happen is that my iPhone battery indicator is wrong. And let's say it's really at 10%. In which case, that's going to be a disaster if this live stream ends. So what did I just do? I just applied Murphy's Law as a strategy, And now my phone is plugged into this power bank. Even though my power indicator says I've got 50%, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's much lower. Where's the cute little doggy? I'll bring her back later. She's out with my mom right now. Jesse Pinkman. I want to be either an actor, actress, physicist, or chemist when I grow up. I say pursue all of them. There is no reason why you can't be all of them. Look at that guy. There's one of the judges on The Masked Singer, Ken Jeong, and he is a medical doctor. He was actually a medical doctor, and then he got into stand-up comedy and acting. And now he's the host of The Masked Singer for the last 5-6 years. So pretty cool. Isaiah, can you tell me why you think I'm the best YouTuber you've ever seen? I appreciate that. I honestly don't know what I'm doing. I'm just being myself. And I hope, can you let me know in this chat why you think I'm good, what you like, so I can do more of that? And maybe you can also let me know, because here's the thing, I don't understand why sometimes I get 30 to 40 people here, but it always goes down to like 15 people or 10 people or 5 people. And I have to figure out, if I want to grow, how to keep a larger number of the people who end up finding me. So whatever I'm doing that you like, let me know so I can do more of that. I have over 3,000 saved in my bank account. That is fantastic, Chase. So my challenge for you over the next, how long did it take you to save up that 3,000? I'd like, if you can let me know. Let everyone know, how long did it take for you to save 3,000? Jesse has $7 saved, but it's because I recently started. Jesse, believe it or not, you have more money saved up than most Americans. I know that sounds crazy, but if you can trust the statistics, most Americans don't have money saved in the bank at all, nothing. So if you have $7 saved, guess what? You can buy 2 coffees more than most Americans if they lose their job. Just keep trying to do this. $7, go up to 8. Try to, if you can put another $1 in there today. Jesse, I know you can find another $1 today somewhere. Move that $7 to $8. The idea is get in the psychological mindset of just constantly saving. Before you know it, that's going to be 10. Then it's going to be 15. Then you'll have $25. And I'm sure this is exactly how CLVR started saving, and now he's got up to 3,000. Isaiah says, you're the best YouTuber I've ever seen, blah, blah, blah. I love your videos. What's up? Jesse, I'm way too paranoid, so that's why I started my fund in case for the future. Good. Jesse, absolutely. And believe it or not, you think $7 may not be enough. If you lost your job, and let's say there's no more money left, but you have $7 saved up, that $7 might be able to be enough to buy you an Uber, to get you a ride to a friend's house so you could stay the night. That $7 could be enough to, I'm trying to think, to give you a meal. I mean, if you just lost your job and you got no money, at least you can get something to eat and something to drink. So again, don't underestimate having just $7 in the bank. That could literally save your life with food and water. What's up, Kfela? Use Murphy's Law right now. Because you're kind, you're telling us facts, and you're helping us. My pleasure, Isaiah. Hey, Isaiah, can you let me know how old you are? And Chase, can you let me know how old you are? If you don't mind. If you don't want to share it, you don't have to. I'm just trying to understand who the audience is, who watches me the most, so I can kind of cater my content to that group. Okay, Sylvia, you're 13. Okay. I know, Jesse, you're young. I think you're 15. And Isaiah, how old are you, if you don't mind sharing? So, in summary, what I want you guys to remember, if you don't have any savings, just start saving today. And I recommend you create different accounts. Create one called your Never Touch Fund, which is your emergency account, and then create a bunch of other ones For example, one for your vacation fund. Create one for your clothing fund. Create one for your buy new video game fund. The reason why you want to do this way you're not using credit cards to buy things. You're earning money, you're saving the money, and you're saving towards a goal. And then once you reach the goal, you feel, yes, I'm awesome. And then you can go spend that money and go buy a video game or go buy a new cell phone or go on a trip around the world knowing that you earned it rather than putting it on a credit card. I used to be somebody who did everything by credit cards, and it gets you in trouble. I had this idea that I was going to be a millionaire super quickly and that I was going to be a movie star overnight. My rock band would take off. And I've had success with all of these ventures, but not to the financial extent that I had hoped and that everybody hopes that they're going to be. Don't assume that you're going to be such a success that you're willing to go into debt and put money on credit cards. Don't be like those NBA stars that keep spending money assuming the money's going to keep coming in. Be somebody who is applying Murphy's Law every day. The worst thing that could happen will. And realize that things could get really bad very quickly. So start saving that money up today. If you need there are some cool apps that can help you save. One of them is called Capital with a Q, Qapital. Another one is called Opportune, Opportun. Those are the two best savings apps that I see on the internet, on the app stores now. Again, Opportune and Capital with a Q. Totally true. He always cheers up my mood. I've been crying for 5 days straight. Jesse, stay strong, my friend. Stay strong, my friend. This morning, I was feeling super bummed out too. Honestly, it was about the YouTube channel too. I'm just realizing I'm seeing the watch time going up. It's going up exponentially based on every day that I'm doing the live streams, but it's also thinking, it's like, is this something that is actually viable? Is it good for me to spend all my time doing these live streams? Will this eventually lead to me making money? A lot of doubts. But applying Murphy's Law, I have to assume that YouTube is going to fail for me as a business so that I end up putting effort into other endeavors to make sure that I'm making income from my other businesses as well. If I just ignore everything else and just focus on this, maybe that makes me a millionaire, or maybe it ruins me completely. I'm never a fan of putting 100% of your effort into one thing. Because if that one thing that you put all your effort into ends up being the wrong thing to invest your time and money into, you just lost everything. Not a good thing. So it took you 3 or 4 years. CLVR, that's fantastic. My challenge to you, if you're at $3,000 now in the bank, I want you to increase that $3,000 before the end of this year to $3,250. Try to increase it by $250. You've got about 7 to 8 months. But try to get it up by $250. All right, you're 13. Okay, what? 11. So this is very interesting that most of the folks who are watching my channel are younger. And I don't really care. I don't mind that it's this particular demographic. But isn't that fascinating? And that I'm an older guy, but I have a younger audience. So super, super fascinating. Jesse, don't compare yourself to CLVR. You could have $3,000. Just to see that 2 years ago, CLVR did not have $1,000, $3,000 in the bank. Okay? You have $7. It's more than most people have. Just keep putting money into it and don't take it out unless it's a huge emergency. I have to use money to travel on the subway. I wish that travel was free and cheaper. I totally get that. Create your never touch fund. I promise you will find money to travel on the subway and this and that. Even if it's just put $1 every month into your never touch fund. and you use the other money for the subway, but just keep working to increase that never touch fund. At least even talk to your family. Talk to your family about these lessons. Have your parents watch my videos. Have them watch this video right now and saying, Mom, Dad, you got to watch this video. It's by this guy, Monroe, Mann, and he's giving great financial advice, and he wanted me to show it to you. Maybe they will then start helping you to build up a never touch fund. They will start to help you become an investor. Sometimes parents don't even think about it. Sometimes parents learn from their children. I'm educating you. It's time for you to go educate your parents. 11 years old, 15, wasn't sure. Jesse, I think my mental health is getting worse every day. Watch my videos. You can watch my videos, the recorded ones as well. Go back and watch the other ones that I recorded. I struggle with mental health too. I think a lot of people do in this world, especially with all this technology. Stay strong. Any day now, things can turn around for the better. And I have to remind myself of this a lot of times. Every day could be the day that I become a millionaire. Every day, like tomorrow, I could do a live stream and there could be 5,000 people tuning in. I don't know. Today, I've got 3 people, 4. Yesterday, had probably 30 people when I did that live stream with Zane. It's very, very interesting how this works. And I don't know. But that's the interesting thing about life. It's hard when you are in a depression and when you're feeling miserable because you think it's never going to end. But I know from personal experience, my depression always does end. I just need to hold on. So if you're feeling down, Jesse, there's no live stream, go watch one of the other videos that I've posted. I've posted videos over the last 20 years, even when I was in my 20s, inspiring stuff. Go read one of I have a music video on here. One of my songs is called The Sun Is Always Shining Somewhere. Go watch that song. Search for the music video for The Sun Is Always Shining Somewhere, and then leave a comment telling me if it helped you or not. I think it will. It always improves my mood. Let me see. You inspire me and others, so you're an amazing person. You'll share what's going on in your life. Tell them about your channel for sure, but I can't. I'm literally on the verge of a mental breakout. If you're that serious, Jesse, go talk to your parents immediately. Go talk to your parents and say, hey, I need help. And go give them a hug. And go explain to them what's going on. And if you need to go see a psychologist or go see a therapist, go see your school therapist. Just don't stay by yourself. You have to go talk to somebody and explain your situation so that they feel they know how they can better help you. Don't just be depressed by yourself. It always makes things worse. Are you a teacher? In your latest video, it looked like you were teaching. Yeah, I am a teacher. I've taught at college. I've taught in middle school. I've taught in high school. I've taught at English schools in China and in Miami Beach. So definitely. And I'm hoping some of what I do is educating you guys. I want you to live better lives. I want you to feel happier. Jesse, go talk to your parents right now. Everything's going to be cool. Jesse, can I tell you this? Don't be scared. Go talk to them. Your parents love you, and I believe they're going to support you. And if you don't feel you can talk to your parents, go talk to somebody else. But I would like to believe that you can ask your parents for help. And I think you may be surprised with how loving and supportive they are. I would say give that a try. And report back. Let me know how things are. Go talk to a school counselor. Go talk to somebody else. But please talk to somebody who you're close to in your life. Do your students know what happened to you when you skydived? I actually left my teaching job a few weeks ago as well. And so I'm not formally teaching at the school anymore. But two of my students and a staff member from the school came with me skydiving yesterday, so they know. So I guarantee you they have been telling absolutely everybody at the school. So it's been about an hour. My voice is getting a little raw here. And I need to go help my mom. I'm going to head off. But I'll probably be doing a live stream again later today, and I hope to see you guys there. Thank you for liking. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something. Number one lesson, guys, you better start saving up your Never Touch Fund today. And as early as you can, start to get a part-time job where you can earn some extra money. I don't know what in your country, what age you can be when you can get a part-time job. But as soon as you can, get something where you're earning a little bit of money every week, even if it's just 20 bucks a week, and then put 5 to 10 bucks in your savings account. Have a great day, guys. See you, Jesse. Check out the music video. It will make you, it'll feel great. And I will play that song live on one of my next live streams. I'm going to do a music live stream where I do like 3 or 4 of my songs. So stay tuned. Talk to you later. And please hope you'll invite your friends to come join next time. Bye.